Hi you guys, Courtney here. If you like this content, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So I wanted to tell you something that I am doing right now, and I think is one of the most important things you can do during this pandemic. And I realize this won't apply to everyone, but I will say that most everyone I know, it could apply to them. And so let me tell you what I'm doing. A lot of us I've lost our jobs, me included. I've been put on leave until I can go back to work. And right now, I don't know how long that's going to be. I am prepared with a big emergency fund because I have been saving for a long time for an emergency. However, I'm not working, I'm not getting paid, and we had a high savings rate, and so we're able to live on one income right now because of the mortgage deferral that we were able to get. So anyway, what I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you how to do it, and in different scenarios how I would do it. So if you, what I did was I took the mortgage deferral for 90 days and I quit paying myself. So I am a contract worker, so I have a business called Balance Yoga and Wellness. I'm a yoga therapist and I sell books. And what I did, any money that I make comes in, and it's usually somewhere around $40,000 a year, $45,000 a year. But I only pay myself $1,500 a month. And then I will take out other amounts for expenses and things like that. So I just cut off all paying myself because our house payment was $1,250 and I'm not commuting, so I'm definitely saving that other $250 and simply not driving. Well, I've noticed a big decrease in our expenses as well in other things. For instance, and I know it sounds, I'll just say there's other things that I'm not doing. My hair needs coloring really bad. I'm not getting my hair colored. I usually get my nails done about 6 times a year, and all I do is get a basic manicure and pedicure, nothing fancy, but that's still, $50 every 2 months. I'm not doing that. I'm not buying anything. I'm not going out to eat. I think that we probably went out to eat more than we realized. We didn't go out a lot, maybe twice a week, but over the course of a couple of weeks, that really adds up. And so what I am doing is I have not gotten unemployment yet, but if I do, I'm taking that money and putting it in savings. We don't normally get a tax return, but we far overpaid our taxes this year, so we're getting a tax return for the first time in like 10 years. And I am paying all of our bills ahead with that. I will pocket, if I get unemployment, into my emergency fund. And if we get a stimulus check, which we should, I will also put that in our emergency fund. So I will pay our bills up as much as I can. A lot of them I can't because we don't have any debt except our house payment. So what I would tell you to do, I know a lot of you watching this have debt, and some of you are probably working, some of you are essential workers, some of you have lost your job, and some of you have a fear of losing your job. It's incredibly important right now to shore up your finances and to reduce any unnecessary spending. So for instance, if you have subscriptions right now that you're not using, go ahead and cancel those. It's not a time to be spending money. There was a program online that I thought, well, I would love to buy that. It was $50. It was a 21-day workout program, but I had already dedicated about $80 a month to different yoga teachers I know that I wanted to support. So there's like 5 of them. So I've been divvying out that money over each week, a little at a time. So that's kind of my spending money right now. I'm trying to avoid any other expenses that are not necessary. I had a lady come out and groom my dogs because I have a really big hairy dog that has, if you don't groom her, she's Great Pyrenees. She gets mats and it's just awful and it hurts her. And so I had someone coming out, that was $100 like every 2 months. I'm not spending that. So I did order a $35 kit to help groom her, and I did. I was terrible at it. She looks like a little child whose parents try to cut their hair for the first time. So it's time to cut your expenses, shore up your emergency fund. We are in a recession now. We don't know how long this is going to last. If you can reduce your expenses at all right now, reduce them, whether that is where you live, your auto expenses, your subscriptions. It is not the time to be spending The only caveat to that is if you are already wealthy and have money and you want to do things because it's on sale. Because for some people who have money, for instance, my husband purchased a disc, I guess is what you call it, for our garden. We chose to spend that $400 on a used disc to go behind our tractor. It's like $1,000 implement to build our garden up for. This will last us forever, for lifetimes. We also can use it in our horse arena, which that doesn't really sound like a need, but that's like my husband's passion. And we also had saved a little bit of cash for expenses like that. So this is the time to save. And I know some of you are like, I'm just barely keeping my head above water, taking care of kids at home and all of that. But it's also a good time. And I have my degree in early childhood. I was a teacher trained in the Reggio Emilia Italian style of early childhood education. And it's also a really good time to learn through experience. That's what my training was in, play guided learning. So I used to teach my children to count with Teddy Grahams and Cheerios, and they learned about, science and things like that through water play and through sand and buckets. And like I would put out on the table a bowl of water, I put towels on the table and some cups and some funnels, and I would let them play. I would put out I didn't have a sand table, but we had a little sand area, and they would take their dump trucks out there and play. They colored, they painted. Sometimes I just put pots and pans out and I let them pretend to play kitchen. And they've all grown up to be, pretty well-adjusted adults. So definitely a time for opportunity learning. Like, look for those teachable moments with your kid. Let go of some of the stress on yourself. But use this time in quarantine, instead of going to Chick-fil-A and getting Chick-fil-A and getting in the playhouse, this is a great time to teach your kids how to make peanut butter and jelly sandwich or grilled cheese sandwich or eggs, or have a cooking lesson with them, because maybe before you were too tired and too exhausted. Teach them skills that they can learn. So use this time to save money, but also make it teachable for your children, and also empower yourself if you can. So I hope this is helpful to somebody. I know a lot of people are going through this. My son is working from home. He's afraid he's going to lose his job. He's trying to save as much money as possible. I have another son who works for DoorDash, and I know that he's saving as much money as possible because, even if you don't lose your job, if you have a job right now, you could get sick. And like right now, there's a stomach virus going around. Not even worried about coronavirus. I mean, I'm very worried about it. But let's say you got sick and you had to be off for a couple of days. This is not the time to be living paycheck to paycheck or be shopping for things that bring you comfort. Comfort shopping is probably a really bad idea right now. So I'm not trying to shame anybody, but if you're going to do the comfort shopping, give yourself a limit. Like, I'm going to spend $30 this week, or I'm going to spend $100 this month if you have it. And that way you're not just willy-nilly shopping all day out of boredom on Amazon or on the internet. All right, folks, have a great day. And again, if you like this, thumbs up and subscribe. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.